Look, man.
Where?
Oh, I see.
Wow.
Oh, my. Bowen, look over there.
Wow, is that
culture?
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong, Las Culturistas calling.
And like Carrie Bradshaw, we have returned from Paris.
We have returned from
Returned
Paris.
to New York, hitting the streets again.
Whew. I mean, and we were in an expensive suite in this lovely hotel.
And we did not find love there.
We did not find love there. Thank you to Bianca Milov of BC Travel.
At BC Travel,
At
you
BC
hooked it up
Travel.
for us. We didn't really try to find love, though. We didn't make earnest attempts. We made half-assed attempts.
No. I think even for staying in the Marais, it was still a pretty, I would say, and I say this with all love, during Pride Month, it was a pretty hetero sort of romance being sort of bandied about, and then even sort of, I don't know, like at an allegedly gay club that we were supposed to go to, that we did end up going to.
Oh, that didn't feel gay at all.
The energy was kind of more Black Swan, straight sort of biomass than it was like an explicitly queer space, and that's okay.
You just took me back to, we were in NYU, and I walked on, it was 4th Avenue, and they were filming a movie, and I said, what are you guys filming? And they said, we are filming a movie called Black Swan. And a year later, I'd find out it was the iconic scene with Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman where Mila goes, "You've never rolled?" And then they do Molly and have a lesbian encounter. Much more successful homosexually than we were in Paris.
Absolutely.
But you guys rock, Natalie and Mila, and
You
come on
guys
the pod.
rock.
Together.
Together.
I hope that they're still connected.
I'm sure they are.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, anyway, we're sort of doing that thing where it's like,
It's a big guess.
we really can't believe it.
Yeah.
And so, no more of our bullshit, because this is a no bullshit moment in Las
No.
Coach history. It's one of those days. And we were passing back and forth a little phone, sort of going shot for shot on iconic moments in a certain television series history. And really just like sitting in not just the impact, but the talent of our guest. Just an incredible actor, as well as being a true pop culture icon, one of the top pop culture icons on our Iconic 400, I believe number 5.
Number 5. And she was my first sort of pop cultural Winifred. I was like, sure, Carol Burnett, we love. And she would then play Agravain in her version.
Mm-hmm.
But big Once Upon a Mattress was like the big first freshman year musical for me. Huge window into the entire. Could be an answer for me for the culture that made me say culture versus me. Was
one of them?
The Broadway revival of Once Upon a Mattress that our guest was the star of.
For me, outside of the big one, I think I knew a little bit who I was when I watched Hocus Pocus, and I said, well, I'm that one.
Yeah.
That's the one I am.
And a dark lip.
100%.
Totally.
A dark lip and a distracted, bedazzled energy. I said, I want to be that unbothered.
Of course.
I strive for that. They won't expect anything of me.
No, of course not.
You dancing idiotically in the background. We can never forget. Bet, come on the pod.
Come on the pod.
Anyway,
Kathy, of course, Kathy.
Well, of course, Kathy.
I hope they keep in touch.
But first,
our guest. Well, it's the mayoral primary in New York. I think she's our mayor. Everyone, please welcome into your ears, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I feel it'd be best if I just left now. Like I
would not
want
be
to
happy.
be all those things. Like one day, perhaps I will actually be one or two of those, or that person you described. But perhaps we just leave best left alone.
Sure.
I hear that.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
Thank
and
you.
I'll see you next time.
This has been great. Honestly, though, it does have to be. I was thinking about this, like this idea of you as the woman who represents New York women. Like when you are you and you're not Carrie Bradshaw, that's a little bit of a burden, but also I guess not.
It's really not. None of it's a burden.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, relative to burdens, do you know what I mean? Like relative to like actual crosses to bear.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
It's really one of the great privileges of a lifetime.
My question for you is, and I've always wondered this, so Carrie Bradshaw, famous shoe game. Was your shoe game always on point? Or did you have to kind of up the shoe game as SJP because people see CB?
Oh, interesting. I think there was a tandem relationship,
Yeah.
but one went mad,
Yeah.
and the other stayed as like a civilian.
Got
you know,
it.
like
Sure.
I really actually have always loved shoes, and I will try to tell this story quickly. But I'm one of 8 kids. There was a period of time in which I was one of 6 kids, but nonetheless, that's a lot of kids to shoe every year.
It's a lot of feet.
And so at the top of the school year, my mother would take us, and this was not an unusual experience for people in this country at a specific time. You'd go to a shoe store before school started. You would be sized. Yeah. And we didn't have a lot of money, so we weren't like just shopping for shoes. It was like a utilitarian act in a way. It was just necessary. And we went, and I'm the 4th of the 6 and now 8, or that, soon after 8. And so I would just like walk around the shoe store smelling shoes. And what I loved about a shoe store, and I'm much older than you, so I don't know if you had this experience, but when you walk into the shoe store in August, it's air conditioned, first of all. Like, I don't know if you guys grew up with an air conditioner in your house, but we did not. Like, that is a privilege. Like,
we got there.
In the Ohio summer, August. So we walk, drive a good distance to our shoe store that is a distributor of, like, Buster Brown. Walk in. And as my siblings were getting fitted, I would, like, pick up shoes and smell them and then turn them over and like really look at the stitching on the bottom of the sole of a Buster Brown shoe. So I really came to this experience of playing someone who has a far more fevered relationship with shoes with some like real affection. I didn't have the access or the money or the constitution to like be buying.
Sure.
Right.
Like I would not have considered that kind of indulgence.
Yeah.
It seems like I'm relating this idea to you talking in interviews about having access to books in kind of a similar way. I mean, obviously different functions. But like, I find it interesting that you think that I'm going to guess that you are the one who's gone mad and Carrie's the one who stayed a civilian, and yet it seems like
no, it's the reverse.
Okay,
Carrie went crazy with shoes, and I stayed.
Got it.
More real. Now, granted, perhaps not.
Sure.
Real too. If you might work in an office in Omaha, you might not.
Of course.
Like our versions of being civilians are not.
Right.
Comparable,
totally.
But I don't have the closet that she has. I don't have the shoes she has. I don't have the amount, nor would I ever, like, that kind of indulgence and decadence for
maximalism. With the shoe.
Maximalist.
Yep.
I wouldn't, but I love shoes.
Yes.
So. But books were different in my house because we had a public library. So we always had books. We could always have books, but you can't always have shoes.
Right.
And so when you grow up, I think having a pair for the fall and a pair for the spring, and then hand-me-downs, you have a different, like the thing you're reaching for remains like a far away distance,
Of course.
And books were much more at our, like we thought of them, went to the library, like fulfilled, so they kind of are different. I love books.
Yes.
We can talk about that. But,
yes, of
but
course.
I've had it's been different because those have been more within my reach.
Sure.
When I was younger.
I mean, I am always so curious about the sort of transitional time in your life where you were in Ohio to sort of working and probably being in New York for, I guess, many months out of the year, or was that like a sudden, quick, like, okay, we're everyone pick up your bags, we're going to New York?
We moved to New York. I lived in Cincinnati until I was 12. My brother and I, the previous summer, in the summer of '76, we'd worked in New York in a play on Broadway. It had gone out of town for out-of-town tryouts first, and that was my only experience working in New York. My real father is born and raised in Brooklyn, but he wasn't living in Brooklyn by the time he became a parent. So we spent time in Brooklyn with his parents, so we had that experience. And on January 1st of 1977, my parents put everything we owned into our Volkswagen bus, and we moved to New York City, the entire family. And at that point, there were 6 of us. My mother was pregnant with my sister Allegra. She was born, she came later because she couldn't, it wasn't a great idea for her to travel 12 miles in a car.
Yeah.
But there was like literally like, I remember at one point my father kind of stopped suddenly and there was a cast iron skillet behind my head. And I just remember just like knowing that it was there, like putting my hand back to hold it. so that it wouldn't hit us all in the head.
Wow.
So then we moved to New York City, and we didn't have a home yet. We were going to be the first families that moved to Roosevelt Island.
Oh, wow.
And we came to New York to move to Roosevelt Island because they had subsidized housing, so we could afford to live in New York City.
Right.
But they weren't ready yet, so we moved to the Holiday Inn in Yonkers. And we lived there, and then my mom came, and so my sister was born in Yonkers. And then Roosevelt Island was finally ready, I think in the spring of 77 maybe. So then we moved to Roosevelt Island and we lived there.
Was the train, this is such
The tram was there,
the
yeah.
tram was there.
So there was no subway service yet. It hadn't been built. It may have even just been like a dream. I don't think they had started digging that subway line yet.
Yeah.
And we only knew about Roosevelt Island because there was an article in New York Magazine about it. And my mom read the article, and we applied through the Housing Urban Development Corporation and got one of the apartments.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we lived there for a year. So we all moved, the entire family.
Sure.
My father started a trucking business. He was a truck driver. And some of my other siblings were actors and auditioning,
And thus began
our time in the city. And I don't think I ever imagined at that point that anyone would ever say, yeah, no, you're a New Yorker. I was like keeping track the entire time, like at what point do I get to
belong?
say,
yeah,
I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Cincinnati so much, and it's an incredible city. Like it's a really special city, and it's cultured and interesting and such smart people, and it's beautiful. But I love it.
You ended up where you
New York.
belong.
Yeah.
What year was Annie's been so on the brain for me recently because they just did that beautiful rendition of Tomorrow at the Tony Awards.
Yeah.
Sarah
Yeah.
Bareilles and Cynthia Erivo in
Yeah.
memoriam, and I've now fallen into this wormhole of those songs.
Oh my God,
And
it's the
just
greatest cast
Maybe
album.
and Tomorrow and just really everything, not even just Annie's songs. I mean across the board. What age was that?
So that was I joined the cast. I was like, I guess one of the first replacements.
Right.
So what happened is Kathy Jo Kelly was July. She left to do the first national tour and play Annie. So I was her replacement. So I came in January of 1978.
Wow.
Having
Pretty
had
soon
seen
after.
the show, yeah. Like I was like,
You were obsessed.
I don't even know if like there's a word to describe the way I felt about seeing that show. We saw it, I think, before it opened on Broadway.
Wow.
And I've been working in an industrial with a bunch of the kids that were in that cast.
Yeah.
And one of the original orphans was my understudy in The Innocents on Broadway that I had done the year before. So all of us were very like, we were like devotees of Annie.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that cast album
It's magical.
so I came in as an orphan as July, as well. I was cast as the understudy to Annie,
Right.
which is mystifying because I'd never really sang professionally.
Really?
Wow.
No.
So what was that? Is it just like loving it at that age, and so you're pretending, or like what do you think made little you able to do that? Because it's not easy songs.
I don't really know. Yeah, and I still left thinking, well, I'm not really a singer. I don't know. I think we grew up listening to records.
Yeah.
We didn't have a television, and we listened to cast albums all the time. And I think like a lot of people in my family, and we don't know why, we have a musical ear. Like we have good, we have musicality, or we have good pitch. Like and
Yeah, you got it.
I'm an interpreter.
Sure,
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm an interpreter.
She's an actor who sings.
And I had a really good audition song, I will say.
What was it?
And it was kind of controversial, and no one else was doing it.
Those are always the best ones.
So is the path like it's not
We'll find it.
linear?
Yeah.
Because it's might hit.
I
back
love it.
to a
I
question.
I think we can dovetail into the question.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do want to know your audition song.
But I think it's about to crack open.
Yeah,
the
it's
door,
about to crack
Which is
open.
okay. So this is the question, Sarah Jessica Parker. What was the culture that made you say culture is for you?
So, my answer to that question, and I was delighted to have one versus, hemming and hawing and trying to come up with something. I have a very clear and specific and the easiest.
love
It
it.
took like 20 seconds to
I was
flip
gonna ask.
that
Those
around.
are the best.
Great.
Okay, so in 1976, when we came to New York, or 1975, I can't remember, we came to New York to audition for The Innocents on Broadway. And that's another kind of amazing, crazy, long story. But as Bridget Everett, who I call Ginger, says, short story long. We came to New York, and while we were in New York City, one night we were spending time with my paternal grandparents in Brooklyn, and my mother and father went to see a show that was in previews called A Chorus Line on Broadway at the Shubert Theater. And they actually summoned the dollars together in order to stay an extra day because they thought our children have to see this show. They have to see the show. So they stood back in line, and we got standing room, and we got 2 seats, and we flipped. Some of us stood for a while and some of us sat. And so I saw in previews at the Shubert Theater, I can't say that I saw it down at the Public Theater. I saw A Chorus Line on Broadway before it opened. And I can say without hesitation that it completely changed my life.
Wow.
And I think what's so interesting about good theater or a good book, a musical or a straight play or a movie, is that it is not necessarily, I don't have to have been a 24-year-old. Chorus Line is famous for calling all of them boys and girls.
Yeah.
But I was 9 or 10 years old, and I was from Ohio, and I felt like the plates of the earth had just shifted. And they shouldn't have it really, except that they were so good, that cast. And that show was so clearly about love. That show was so clearly about a dream. And I think, obviously what I did for love is...
It's so gorgeous.
Because it just says everything, and it applies to people in a broad range of industries. It applies to, but there is something uniquely special about this desire to be on stage. And it's hard to articulate because it's not necessary. It's not even rational if you don't have yet the language. Why, Sarah Jessica, why do you want to be on stage? You're 8, you're 9, you're 10. And I wasn't like a showbiz kid. It wasn't like I was tap dancing for my parents and putting on shows. We didn't put on shows. But that show, Priscilla Lopez singing Nothing, and
Music in the Mirror.
I was gonna say, I saw the Jimmy Awards last night, and one of the girls did Music in the Mirror, and she of course went to the finals because it's so winning. It is so sweeping. It is such a journey, and you're taken away. I remember I've told you this a million times. Jane Krakowski did it on Ally McBeal years ago. She's a monster. She is so talented. It's just crazy.
Freaking-tastic,
I remember even back I remember I was little watching over my aunt's shoulder.
Have you ever pulled up on YouTube any clips from the original production?
Oh, of course.
There's some shaky bootlegs, right?
I know, thank God for all the bitching and moaning. You're like, put your camera down. There's someone up in the balcony. No. And you're like, why did all of us make such a fuss?
You know what? We need at least one.
We just need one.
That's how I remember that song.
Music in the Mirror
is such a winning song because, and I think that probably what I can relate to and what you're saying, and I'm sure Bowen can as well, is it's you're right. What is the question that I'm trying to answer within myself that, because I feel a certain emotion doing this? I think what I experienced was I want to express myself like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's maybe what it is?
I don't know if I understood that I wanted to express myself. I guess I wanted to care. What I understood in the simplest terms was this kind of unmatched necessity to care. To be completely devoted, to fillet yourself, and without any, with total understanding of the very possible disappointment and heartbreak, but that without the attempt, without the the exercise, the real endeavor, then you would be at a deficit. You would be worse off for not having been heartbroken than you would have been for a path more common.
What I did for love. It's all about putting yourself out there 100% and saying, this is what I'm offering.
What I did for love is and the show are about, not to get sort of psychology meta about
That's
this,
okay.
but it's like
Get it.
It's about having a passion for a passion. It's about being passionate about passion. Maybe is what you're saying.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
but were you watching A Chorus Line thinking in the context of how you had watched musicals before that moment, or was that just like completely like a first impression of what the form would be? Because it was very groundbreaking at the time.
It was groundbreaking because it was so modern, and it was without a fourth wall, and it was a person in the house talking to the cast, and they were dressed like nobody had ever dressed. No one had ever been costumed like that on Broadway. No one was wearing
like leotards
rehearsal, wear, and it was such a kind of candor about the language and the way they were talking, and it was like ribald and dirty sometimes, and there were inferences that were meant to be funny and sexual, and there was homosexuality, and Paul, I think, is God, it would be amazing to play that part.
Oh.
That's a beautiful, that part, right? That story of his parents coming and seeing him still dressed as a young woman. He's like in a, what do you call it, the shows? Burlesque and Times Square. Every single story was so well thought out.
Yes.
The book was the cleanest, most perfect,
Fettered,
everything not necessary was gone.
Unembellished,
And so I think it was just like perfect.
Yeah.
And the singing and, what's Maggie's song?
The
greatest of all.
Yeah,
come
to me.
Every day was beautiful at the ballet. At the
At the ballet. Everyone's happy at the ballet.
I mean, that her singing.
Which you did.
Yes, I mean,
and I loved you when you did that on Glee.
Whatever.
No, that was
we talk
great.
about her because her was, I mean.
But that was actually my first experience. Actually, when I was watching Glee and you doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh,
See, I was a little late to
corrected
things.
that.
Well, I said whatever. I mean, give yourself credit. It affected me. I was going to ask you this. Do you find, because I'm finding a link here between you pointing out in the book for The Chorus Line that there's candor and that there's honesty and that there's. And then famously, you become synonymous with candor on television for the first time. Is that something you're attracted to? Is that something that you feel like you're seeking, candor?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's like a criteria. I think I like that as a child because all the musicals that I had heard before that were really traditional, like big musicals, like Rogers and Hammerstein and Learning Low and like Oklahoma and Showboat, and so I think what struck me so much and the rest of the world was that A Chorus Line was so intimate, and people were talking about their lives on stage that were very different than Shogun, even
yes,
and which I loved, but. So when I received the pilot script for Sex and the City, I wasn't looking to play like, a sort of
a
New
ribald
Yorker,
woman,
who was curious about sexual politics and wanted to have intimate conversation. Like I didn't even realize that was a thing that could be told or said, but I certainly was found it really compelling. I thought I've never read. Even in pilot form, because it's just so minimal, really. When you look back, you're like, it was just this. But it was really in plenty to convince me very easily without any persuasion that it was this is different. I haven't heard people have these kinds of conversations. And there were plenty of women on television before Mary Richards.
Of course.
Of course.
And others, and Marla Thomas, and many others who, forgive me, I'm not remembering. It's not like women hadn't. We weren't like the first women, but because I think because of our studio, it was HBO. The rules were didn't apply at all.
Yeah,
I used to wait till my parents would leave the house, and then I would go to we had HBO on demand, I would just mainline.
Wait, where are you from? Where are you
Long
raised?
Island.
You're from Long Island.
Yeah, from Suffolk County.
Okay, so this dream wasn't even that far away, but it could have felt far away. I guess doesn't
one
matter.
of my answers to our own question is that we went to go see Hairspray,
and
I just remember the 3-part harmony on the trio, and they hit this insane three-part harmony belt.
When
and
the girls,
the
ladies
tears.
were singing,
Welcome to the 60s.
Welcome to the 60s.
Yeah.
And I believe it was the Mama song.
Yeah.
I just remember hearing those harmonies belted and how joyfully it was, and the response from the audience, and I burst into tears, and my mom was like, "What is wrong?" And I was like, "Nothing. I don't know."
Exactly.
But it's
Nothing. I don't know. That would be a really good name for your memoir.
You know what I'm gonna call it?
Right?
Not for nothing.
Oh,
Because I always
really?
use
Are you
that
being
phrase.
serious?
No, I'm serious.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then your
Wait,
second book is called. So the first one's called Not for Nothing, and the second one's called
Nothing
I Don't Know. Because also Nothing I Don't Know could be Nothing I Don't Know.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it was very nothing I don't know because it was
you couldn't or you didn't.
There was
know.
And for me, that's why I asked you, like, was it about expression? Because the tables are turning. I ask you, was it about expression? Because certainly for me it was.
Yeah.
I think I was like, I remember I saw those women and everyone up there dancing and singing and giving it everything, and I think they knew they were a part of something special.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was, I think honestly, when I talk about that belted harmony, it's because of the volume. I wanted to express myself loudly.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about looking at people on a stage and expressing, especially in the show that you point out. Wow, it makes me emotional.
Oh.
Like the freedom to express.
Yeah.
And that is what you get on stage. And at the Jimmy Awards last night, it's just so emotional
Can
because
you tell me about the Jimmy Awards?
so it's the
you would
High
love it.
School Musical Theater Awards.
so is it GYM?
named after James Nederlander.
Oh,
the Jimmy Awards.
Is that the Nederlander?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's at the Minskoff.
Oh, the Minskoff, I'm
But
sorry.
I saw
Wow.
you at the Nederlander in Plaza Suite.
Oh.
And I wanted
Wait,
to
was
say-
it the Neder? No, we were at the Hudson.
Oh, at the Hudson.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
okay. That's okay.
But that was the last time I guess we ran into you at SNL 50, but
Yes.
the last time I had physically seen you.
What's another? Did I see it Smash? Where did I accost you guys? Was it at SNL?
That was at SNL 50,
Oh, that's
and
right.
it was a
Up
moment
the
for our life.
staircase
The
at-
highlight of
Yes.
our
You
night.
descending, and
No.
all I could say
It
to
was you and
Matthew was,
Matthew.
"I just watched Election," because I had. And I was.
That's a perfectly fine thing to say to him. That's really nice.
Well, I
Like,
said
that's
it
not
twice
usual.
I said it twice in a night.
That's
so
all
the
right.
second time. By the way, what a great movie!
Well,
What a
like,
talent!
I want to ask you a question in a second, but I do want to talk about SNL 50, because actually I was moving past Lauren more recently, and I tried to tell him we were at a party, and a different party, and I tried to say, you know, that was like a perfect night. That was
great.
that was like a perfect night, and I've been trying to figure out a way of writing him a note to say thank you for including us in that night, and it started the weekend with the show
concert,
at the
yeah.
concert,
Incredible.
and it was so much fun. And I like we don't even go out anywhere. And like no, it's okay. Well, okay.
So glad.
But I tried to tell Lauren how like perfect it was, and I can't imagine
the feat of production. My God.
and what went into deciding which ones you were going to do,
Sure.
and how hard it would be to be clear-eyed enough to focus, and everybody kind of already who rise all the time anyway
Right.
at 11 o'clock, like or 11:30, like already that's so something you guys are all accustomed to. So you were like taking like the most well-oiled machine and somehow making it like
Elevating
like
it or
a
something.
speed train in Kyoto, or you know what I mean, like a bullet train.
A bullet train.
So, did you know before? Did you guys know that this was like, oh, this is solid? Like, were you like?
It was all
For
kind
sure.
of in Lorne's mind up until like the 2 weeks before. So Lorne, I think, was doing his kind of amazing, beautiful mind-esque, like the numbers are sort of like floating around his head. But like for the better part of the fall, I think for all of the first half of the season of 50, it was like, okay, like what's the show gonna be? Like who should we be out to? Like can we need to do like avail checks and stuff?
Right?
Yeah.
As if somebody would not cross
Would
board,
decline.
you know, like anywhere to get
so
there and
many
be
people
part of
haven't
it.
Right,
hosted
right.
it that you think
Right.
would
Yeah.
be amazing, but it's also very nerve-wracking.
But it's also like a night for legends. Like
Exactly,
it's a night where
sure.
you want to repeat, you want to dip back in. Like it's such a deep well.
Of course.
So I thought, however you came to these decisions, whatever the collective is.
Yes.
it just like, first of all, the opening with Paul Simon and Sabrina Carpenter, which is like perfect.
Yeah.
And so sentimental, like already.
Then and now.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, okay, so they already hit like a triple.
Totally.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
she was perfect.
She's
and she
great.
like held back just the right, like it was so elegant.
Yeah.
And he was so touching, and it's so sentimental, and it's so nostalgic.
Yeah.
And, you know, my brothers grew up watching that show, the very first episode, like your show, like that show. But anyway, so already you could tell, like it was, you know, when you get off to a start like that, you're like,
sure, you're so right. It's like, I think probably that was the thought that went into it from Lauren's end. It was just like, let's just make sure this is cozy and comfortable for everyone in the room, everyone at home. We're in good hands all the way through, and then you come out with you know, Steve Martin coming out,
so
Mulaney, Martin Short. It's like all these heavy hitters, and then it was to me this like 4-dimensional photo mosaic of like everyone who's had the same shared experience of being at that show, and it meant everything. That like my closest friends were there, Matt was there, Sudi was there, our best friend Sudi, Celeste, our co-writer who we're working with now. I mean, it was just this like complete tapestry of like the human experience, and how all of it has this optimistic sort of like encasing around it, which is like, it's gonna be okay. Like for all of like the like slings and errors that people suffer in the system and outside of it, it's like everyone's here, and they're telling you about the kids that they have, the families that they've grown, like the lives that they've had since they've been at the show, even though it was really hard in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, whatever. Like every era of the show is like not totally unique, because it's like, oh, it's all been set against the backdrop of whatever political chaos was happening at the time. And it's like, it's our job to like bring some levity in whatever way we can, in whatever media environment that is like out there. I mean, like I was like, no one's gonna watch this. Like it's like, no, everyone's attentions are pulled in a million different directions.
But every so often there's a cultural event that is able to sit everybody down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you want it to be in real time, like all of the new and the ways in which I like have like an allergy to watching television, like that too was the thing. It's like, no, it's going. You don't want to watch it tomorrow.
Right. Monocultural zeitgeist moment. That is literally
not
infectious.
A sports event. Not a sports event.
No, yeah, right. But I remember, like, this is odd, but like I remember when we were little. I remember watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when the first person won $1 million, and it was like the world exploded. Like I remember when Richard Hatch won Survivor. Not me talking about only reality.
Kelly Clarkson winning
Kelly, my girl. But like, you know, all these things that's what SNL 50 was recreating, and I think
such a good job.
It makes you proud to be a New Yorker too, because obviously it's so synonymous, and I think that must also give you a sense of pride as well.
There are great musicals that are about New York and important choreography, but I think because this contemporary thing keeps giving us this experience every weekend, and it is only could be home in New York.
Yeah.
And you know, a show can go on the road and touch people all over the country and the globe, frankly, but New York continues to be like this export. Like we don't get to export as much as we don't get to send art as far in the ways we used to. Like it was such a crisscrossing of the ocean. It was such an effort, and now we're tossing stuff. But this is a New York show. It employs thousands and thousands and thousands of New Yorkers. I'm sure generations have gone through that studio of people on the crew side. You know, there's endless stories of the way in which it is a New York show.
So you're a real fan of that show. Are you like a Saturday Night Live dyed in the wool?
There's a period when I started having children that I like tapped out of baseball, and I tapped out of anything that was late. Because like I just didn't, especially if I was shooting and being a parent, it just all of a sudden it didn't factor. Like I couldn't carve the time out. But it's really interesting when you have children after a while, what their interests are and what they're talking about can bring you back home.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
what's the time
so
that happened?
My
I wonder?
son is a massive baseball fan, and so it came back into our life because he became much more, he was dictating conversation at the table, and then of course they're all watching SNL and they're talking about it and they're telling us and and pulling stuff up on their phones of scenes and instances and whatever. So the way in which it kind of disappeared, not entirely, but I wasn't able to stay up.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's not so much the case anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
But for you to give the imprimatur of New Yorkness onto that show is meaningful, just coming from another New York show. I'm just so happy to hear that you guys had a great time, because you're
was
right.
fantastic.
The people in the room were you, Matthew, Lady Gaga, Cher, for God's sake.
come
You know what I
on.
mean? It was
Yeah.
like, and like,
We couldn't believe it. We were like, look, we were
Oh
like,
my God. Like, everyone was rubbernecking.
and it was so crazy. And then, like, even the entrance and, getting your ticket, and, Matthew was convinced we weren't going to watch it in the room because they ushered
yeah,
us
right.
to this really lovely, like, cocktail area.
The lounge, yeah.
The lounge. and then I felt Matthew's spirit.
Oh.
It slightly, he's like, I think we're in the lounge to watch it. And I was like, that's okay. We're on this floor.
Right.
We're on the 8th floor, right? The 8th floor.
8th floor.
And,
They moved you in.
and then the woman was like, "No, you come right this way.
We have a seat
for you guys."
You.
By the way, you know where I just saw Matthew? At the Mets game. He was
Oh,
there
yeah,
at
of
the
course he was.
Is he there all the time?
Yeah, he's there as
Do
much
you
as
ride hard for the
possible.
Mets, or are you Yankees, and is it a torn up household?
Oh, it's such a complicated thing because we our whole courtship was like the late '90s Yankees because
tough time.
everybody was.
Yeah,
was.
Tough time
'cause-
to be a Mets fan then, because
Yes,
the Yankees,
yes.
you guys would not shut up.
But we weren't that kind of Yankees fan because that's
You were
always
kind.
been objectionable to me. But we did. We were in a couple ticker tape parades though.
Yeah.
When they won. Yeah. And we didn't have kids then, so we could. Our dream was we were going to travel. We didn't get to go on a honeymoon because we were both working, but our travel dream was we were either going to go to Vietnam or
beautiful.
we were going to go to all the baseball stadiums across the country
Oh,
before
that
they were torn
rocks.
down. Like so many of them
Amazing.
been torn down.
Oh God, I know. I miss Shay.
Yeah,
I
even
miss
Shay.
I miss the
still
charm
call it
of
Shay.
Shay. My
Yeah.
dad used to ride his bike from Long Island and hop the fence, and he would just watch games at Shay, like riding in from Lindenhurst.
Matthew was sort of taught that you hop.
You hop the
you
fence.
hop.
Like he
Yeah.
was raised as a Met fan. His father took him to Mets games.
Yep.
So it was always hard. And then when they would have Subway Series, it was really hard. It's just that this late '90s Yankee
Sure.
team was just heavenly, and
Yeah.
we
was
we
hard.
loved them.
Yeah.
But we loved the Mets too. And there's been many times when it's been really hard.
Sure.
Oh, because the
they're
thing with the
both-
Mets is they're either really good or really bad.
I know, but man, watching the Mets fan, like our house, like I'm like,
We believe.
oh my God.
You gotta
like,
believe.
What is the temperature going to be? Like
Sure.
when Matthew, I walked in the room the other day and I was like, what? Like I was
What
scared
happened?
of
What
like some
happened?
horrible news that had just arrived over the wire.
Yeah.
And he's like, they just blew they just blew a 7-run blowout. And
That's part of being a Mets fan.
I
though,
know,
is
I know.
The,
It's
the,
just really
the
affects the
tragedy
house,
and the
so-
glory.
No, I know. But you got to be true blue. I go, gentlemen, come on, boys.
Sure.
Oh no, you have to
You
be
know-
true blue.
But you're saying it divides the house along what lines?
Well,
Like-
meaning it doesn't really divide the house, except that there were times when both were playing that I was like, I felt
Yeah.
kind of
Of course.
bad about. I didn't know where to put I didn't know where to line because I love both teams. It's very hard to have to choose to have two great hometown teams. Now Matthew wouldn't be quite as equivocating.
Right. So is it because you think of like the Yankees, you think of the New York grandeur, and then there's
Yeah,
also
I
the Mets,
mean,
with that
scrappy.
underdog like Union spirit
Scrappy.
almost? I think that's what connected my
I think
dad
that's
to
the
them.
whole attitude is like well, in the old days, the Yankees had all the money to to hire players, and the Mets were a scrappy that was the feeling. That was kind of like the color of the tone of the sentiment around. Yankee fans were wealthy. This was not necessarily true. This was kind of, I painted my nails white for you guys. Just want you to know that. I've never had white nails in my whole life, and they're going to come off the second I get home.
I love the white nails.
And I wasn't sure, and I had to be talked into
like
it. So,
butter.
Anyway, I just saw them flash, and I was like, I better explain why these nails are white. But I feel like that was always the feeling. I don't know if that's true or if that's based in any
that's just anesthesia with
reality. And I know a lot of it is regional. I know that Queens tends to, obviously, are Mets fans, and Upper New York are, Yankees fans. Like, all the geography makes sense, but I don't know how you pick a team.
Well, I think it's like, it really is like, your spirit can be very broken when you are the underdog team again and again and again. And but I also think it's more fun.
Of course it is.
I think
How
it's
about
always
those wins,
fun to
what they mean.
It's fun to win all the time, but not but it can do something to you when you come to expect glory and victory in this way and almost give an entitlement. And I think that's what I resented about Yankee fans that were around me, is that they were entitled. They felt they were better than me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And that's what it was. And I remember, maybe this happened in your family at some point, but one day I think I was just like wanting to test the waters, and I walked into my dad and I was like, I'm a Yankees fan now. And I bought all this Jeter merch. And I was like, I thought
maybe
he was
you really
cute.
were a Yankees fan, if you know what I'm saying.
You know who I was a big fan of was Mariah Carey, and they were dating.
Who was a Jeter fan?
So did you like Tino Martinez too?
Oh my God, I love Tino Martinez first base. When he would wear a batter's helmet while he played in the field.
Oh, fun.
And he was one of the only ones. So this is like deep in my. Yeah. And remember.
What did your father? What was his? Was he just like?
My dad. You know what's funny is he reacts now to the TV when Trump is on the way he used to react when things would go down with the team, and I thought over the years he had calmed down, but then now it's politics. But last year when the Mets were really in it again, he was yelling at the TV again, and I was like, you know what? It kind of was nice. It kind of took me back a little bit,
Oh, it's great.
But I remember that was before theater for me.
Yeah,
it was like sports and
sports is theater. I mean, my God, the drama.
Absolutely.
In our house, and we can move on, honestly, in our house, you'll hear, like, through the house, I don't know if you guys do this, there's a thing about clapping when you get runs. Like, it's not like golf clapping. It's like...
the spirited clap.
Yeah, it's like this kind of clap that I'm like, that's better for all of us. Like, whatever happens is good. Yeah. We did skip over, so you talked about Hairspray, but I don't, what was your...
Are you asking us the question?
I was just curious because we got to talk about your Hairspray experience, but I don't know, and maybe I should. Sorry, but
I mean, no. Why should you know? I mean, what was as it relates to theater or just
that cultural?
Oh, it's a lot of different answers every day.
That's okay.
I will say today, probably apropos of you being here, you are at the top of the show. I was kind of unlocking all these Once Upon a Mattress memories for myself, and it was going to the library and picking up your recording of Once Upon a Mattress, as well as, because this was 2003, as well as the Wicked soundtrack, the Wicked recording, and both of those figure very heavily into my life.
Wow.
But just it was
That's
hearing
so
you
amazing.
sing Shy. I was hearing you sing, like Spanish Panic or doing all those things.
I can't remember all those songs.
But I mean, it's a musical that I love.
It's so funny. Not everybody loves that musical.
I just love that it's jazzy and fun and funny and cheeky.
It actually is way fun. I took my aunt to go see
it's like a skit almost. It's like a sketch.
It's a hard comedy.
Like,
and the new one that Amy Sherman Palladino did the new book for. Talking about
with Sutton.
Yeah,
I didn't get to see that.
It was really much funnier than I thought it was going to be, and because it had been modernized and it had been punched up for a modern audience, but I left with a big smile. It really was great, and it actually made me excited about reviving stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a little part of me that really is excited about where theater is going. I'm sure you've seen everything, but Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, whatever is happening with Evita right now with Rachel Zegler on the West End.
Yeah.
And I love the choice.
So Jamie Lloyd, that's what you like.
Jamie Lloyd.
the biggest thing in theater, Jamie Lloyd.
Well, you know where we're going.
We're going to Gypsy
tomorrow. We're going to see Gypsy.
Oh,
That's
I
my
haven't seen it
second
yet.
time.
Oh,
you
wow.
must go, Sarah Jessica. I mean,
I'm going to try.
Audra she's just giving everything, and I don't think
as usual.
Well, yes,
I mean,
I don't think I had really understood and appreciated the choice to take Rose's turn up, which took it out of her comfort zone purposefully to show the anguish, because I really feel like this Gypsy is exploring Rose as mentally ill, and I think that's such an interesting and fascinating way to go about it. And so I guess that's what I mean about like this stuff coming back, and you're kind of like, you know, you hear about some things going on stage or some person being a part of some revival, and you're like, why? And then
you see it.
You give the opportunity and you see why.
Right.
And Once Upon a Mattress is just it's a fun
blast.
breeze,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
a blast. The jokes were hard.
Yeah.
Which is, I find, rare.
Yeah.
But you know, it was great.
I mean, it just opened my eyes to, because growing up in Colorado in the suburbs.
It's so funny that you grew up in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't. Why is that weird? Why is that like? Why not? But
why not?
I
but also,
I think because I feel like you are such a urban person.
Thank you.
Yeah, and urbane and no, because I think, you know, I didn't get to see you as you arrived.
Of course.
You know,
Sure.
He was always like that,
baby. I bet you were, but you know, you take on a little bit of something else. It's so funny because that's just silly and small of me.
No,
I'm
not at all.
suggesting that won't exist in other parts of I just think of you very citified.
But between the three of us, it's like our essences have kind of like merged with the city. You know what I mean? It's like we're all
which
like,
probably happens wherever you go and stay.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
But I've hit a milestone recently that I'm still not totally sure how I feel about, which is 34 years old, officially hitting 17 years in the city. So it's half my life.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
This is, and you know what? This is like a conversation that like Josh Sharp and our friend Josh and Cole Escola and I have had like a few years ago where we're just like, gosh, are we just, because our friends, there was this big exodus to LA,
I was going to ask you guys
a lot.
next, like, how is it that we've kept you in New York? Like, is that,
it's been work for me, but then like our friends are just like, are we just like the lifers here? Are we just like the welcoming committee for any like new people who come, and like we're there with like the greeting package or something? And now Matt's fully a New Yorker again, which I'm very, very happy about.
Can I ask you what neighborhood you live in?
Yeah, I'm in Nolita.
Oh, you are? Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't hear that as much lately.
You know what?
That's nice to hear. So you're on the receiving end of the Elizabeth Gardens being saved.
I just found out about it today.
Oh, you did?
And I have to tell you, I did get a little emotional because I thought, like, it's a little Carrie Bradshaw. Like, I kind of lived because I'm single and I'm feeling good about that again.
Yeah.
And I'm
good.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm.
Do you have
pretty
apartment? Is it pretty?
You know what? It's like Carrie's was.
Is it
it's
really?
Charming.
I love those apartments.
It's charming and it's
Pretty.
comfortable.
Yeah.
And I am.
Are you walking up? Or you're walking.
You know,
up?
I'm not walking up because it's
Do you have
5.
an elevator?
There is one
Oh,
elevator.
that's amazing on those streets.
Yeah. See,
Because those are smaller buildings.
it is. It is my dream come true. So I'm still exploring.
Okay.
So you might need to write some things down for me.
afterwards,
That would
but
make my life. I'll
that
frame it.
Is, if I'm correct, because I know it is on the one that goes east-west.
Yeah.
I know it's on that street. The cross street, I feel less confident about. But if I'm right, that is a sandwich shop.
It's all the
That
best
is,
places.
but not.
though.
It's not. It just says blah blah deli. Like it's not. It's a nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. Everything is, but it's not like I
not
don't
the
think
script,
people are lining up with their cameras and shooting it. I think it's just the
Sure.
real deal.
It's a breeze, you know what I mean? Like it feels exciting, and I think honestly, I got chased out of New York for a lot of reasons for in here, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden I felt like I was called home, and I will say, it is harder day to day.
Yeah.
But it is so worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I find that New York, it does toss those challenges your way.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, I asked for this.
Yeah.
It's hot as hell.
I know.
There's
no
can't
swimming
move.
pool. There's no,
There is no easy way to get
No.
places, but I will say you're compelled.
Yeah,
And
I
like,
know.
that's all I ever really... It's like when I was little watching that show, I was compelled.
Yeah.
New York compels.
Yeah.
And
It
during
asks
the pandemic...
a lot of, sorry, keep going.
No, just during the time, like being forced to be away.
Yeah.
I remember I came back and like I walked the streets even though it was raining, and I literally was having like an as if we said goodbye moment. And I was just like, God, and I was emotional because memories everywhere, and you're only really ever gonna have one home like that.
Yeah.
And
No,
this is my
it's
home.
pretty special. I wish it were more hospitable to those who feel that kind of dream, because it's just right now it's just prohibitive financially, and I would love for others to be able to try to make it their home and have it be a real possibility, and maybe we will find more affordable housing for our our communities.
Our fingers are crossed.
Like maybe that is not insane, because I think so. I guess I feel like I want to go back for a second and just say it's amazing that people are moving back to New York. So somebody else I know just is moving back to New York. I feel like it's such a
prodigal return.
It's a
unusual
return.
thing to be hearing.
Yes.
So I feel as if we're not losing people in the same way I felt we were, that there is a kind of buoyancy maybe again, if we're not 100%, at least we don't seem like this forbidding place.
Sure.
So somewhere people are still thinking you can maybe make it happen there.
And I'm sure, just to go back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this episode, I'm sure what a lot of the projection that people throw at, that people must, when they see you, when they get excited, they must dump a lot of that ambition and that, like, just that, the way that they wish the city was hospitable.
Because you are a landmark.
You know what I mean?
I'm happy to be on like the repository for the dumping. That's all right. That's all right.
That's a huge role. But speaking of New York, how and you brought Bridget Everett earlier. How did you get to know those people, like Bridget, like Amy Sedaris, like
Andy.
Cole, like Andy, like that is such a fun downtown crowd, and like I've always been curious about like how you got in with them.
Okay, so I remember the order. Amy and I met. Matthew and I worshipped Amy Sedaris. We saw her, on Letterman, basically, which is she was like a regular, know.
Best.
And
anytime someone would cancel, she'd
it was like
she
was the greatest. So this was in the late '90s, and then so we really together. It was like the things we loved were the Yankees, Ab Fab, and Amy Sedaris.
Those are
and of course
three
David, but he wasn't making as many appearances on commercial television as Amy was.
course.
But she was still nichey. Like it wasn't like you could walk the streets and talk about Amy Sedaris. It was much more valued like thing.
You could find your people in that reference.
Totally.
Kind of like Cole.
So then,
there
yes.
For a bit. Yeah.
So then, Amy and I came to know each other because I was going to do a play off Broadway at MTC main stage.
Yep.
I was going to do a play that David Lindsay a Bear play, and it was his follow-up to Fuddy Mears, which was one of my most favorite plays ever. And we were supposed to start rehearsals on September 11th, 2001.
Wow.
And we had made contact. I basically did it because Amy. And I love David Lindsay a Bear.
Yeah.
And so that morning I was up early to be on time for rehearsal and get to the subway, and I was downstairs. Matthew and I lived low Manhattan, so we lived south of Houston, and I was watching the Today Show, getting ready for my first day of school, and I was screaming at him, and then I said, I have to go. I'm going to be late for rehearsal, and he said, I don't think there is going to be rehearsal today. So I called Amy, who I didn't really yet know, and I said, I'm worried about being late. And she said,
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be rehearsal today. So anyway, we became friends, and we took the subway home together every day, and we shared a dressing room, and she very graciously just allowed us to infiltrate, and she became a big part of our lives. And I always said, and I'll repeat it, that I always thought, like, she always says that she's a wedge in our marriage, but I was like, but they really have great chemistry, and he really loves her so much, like he admires her so much. And then Scotty Whitman used to do a bunch of plays. He directed at La Mama, and Cole was always in them.
Yes.
And Bridget was, or Ginger as I call her, and so then Ginger would come out east all the time and stay, and then she ended up just staying at our house for. I think she lived at our house for, and the world is like the social circles
Small.
are tiny.
Tiny.
And you just keep bumping into people if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And if you are behaving basically as a decent
stick
person,
around.
you can stick around. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
did you ever like?
It's pretty amazing, Cole.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
just
is there a better story in the world? Can you think of one?
Probably not. I mean, like, it's one of those things too where
It's just
I gotta say it's always been like
extraordinary.
that. We've always said that they were our hero.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that goes all the way back. I mean, that's what people don't really know, and I think they're knowing it now because there's a lot of press about Cole. But truly always thinking like no one else.
Yes.
And that was what was so inspiring. And it's funny, like, we had to answer some interview questions earlier, and it was like, who was your mentor? And I was like, I just gotta say, I don't really have mentors, but I do have these like influences, and he was one of them. And I just wonder for you, like, when you come to New York, were you seeing a lot of experimental stuff? Like, were you seeing all of it? Like, did you know Liz Swados?
My brother was in Runaways, the first original
She was
cast.
my mentor too.
No way.
At NYU, yeah.
Oh, that's right, because so she taught there. Okay, so when I was doing Annie on Broadway, my brother was in Runaways down about 4 blocks down south, not even 4
Diane
blocks,
Lane?
with Diane Lane. He was in the original company. He was at Public and on Broadway.
Wow.
I auditioned for Runaways too. Did not get it. Nor should I have gotten it. But so we met at 49th Street because we had to take the N and the R to the tram every night. So I loved Liv Swados.
Oh, wow.
I love that show. Make sure your listeners pull up that cast album. That cast album is incredible.
There was an episode.
Do you know it?
I don't know Runaways.
He almost worked with Liz.
I almost worked with Liz.
So I worked
for
with
a
Liz
second,
like
but
many
she's-
times. I was very close.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I honestly I love honoring her on this
I'm
podcast,
sorry.
and she actually came up earlier today. And we had our.
Did she really?
Well, just because we were answering those questions, and they asked me that mentor question, and I was like, trying to find it, and I was a little frustrated with myself, and then I realized that's who it was. It was
Yeah, of
Liz,
course.
because she just explored all these sides of me, and like the way she let me see myself, and I think that's what great.
I think she was
influences.
uniquely good at that, though.
She had a real energy. And I remember she just, when I first auditioned for her.
Were you at Tisch?
I was, but I wasn't an acting student. I was I don't want to make this about me at all.
I don't care. No, go. I want all of
I was just
it.
a very, very closeted, but like I said, very passionate kid that wanted to do this. And I think that she, more than anyone else in my life, allowed me to see myself as limitless. And I do think that that's such a gift to give someone who's a young performer, is to the knowledge that you can be anything.
Yeah.
And she really took away my fear and emboldened creativity in me, and made me aware of my stage presence. It was a way. It was like she would look you in the eyes and gave you a gift, even in just doing that.
Yeah.
And gave you fearlessness.
Yeah.
And that is that's why I ask, is because we're talking about these people that energetically really have her spirit.
Yeah.
And so I felt compelled to ask you if you knew her.
It's funny because I probably wouldn't otherwise. She was really she's really, really talented and very, if anyone can find their way to Runaways and just really watch that show, it's a pretty freaking extraordinary show, and it's brutal. And Josie de Guzman, Diane.
Diane was young.
Toby, my brother Toby, who went on to do the original. He was in the original Rent as well. He did all of Jonathan's shows from like Naked Angels and Tick Tick Boom. Like
See,
all
that's
that.
what I'm talking about. Like, and
Yeah.
I loved the Tick Tick Boom movie that Lin-Manuel did so much too, because it got that spirit. I remember, like, when he showed those rehearsal rooms, I felt like I could smell them. Like the light coming in the window on those like third floor studios.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
it just brought me so back, and it's hard. And I wonder, like, how do you remind yourself to be fearless when you
need to be,
when you're so established, I suppose, because I think that's something that we're running into, is it's like it's harder to be fearless as you become more established.
Yeah, I think you I don't know, you just try to make interesting choices.
Yeah.
And doing Plaza Suite was really terrifying. It's just absolutely terrifying. And playing, each of us, we're playing 3 parts, and they're not anything like us. They're not.
Yeah.
It's a different generation, and politics were different, and women were different, and sexual politics was different, and people sounded like where they were from. There were regional accents and manner and behavior, and it was absolutely terrifying. But I couldn't not do it.
Right.
So there are lots of ways in which you can feel like you've always felt. Like, what is the job?
Right.
The only difference now is, how long is it taking me away from my family? At this point,
sure.
that's the only new part of the math of making decisions. It's pretty much all the same. It's
the
just
two
now.
of you were just glowing together. I remember she went with James Scully.
Oh, great.
And we were watching it, and just there's a moment, I believe it's the top of Act 2, where you come out in the blue dress.
Oh, yeah.
And the audience is just euphoric for seeing you in this outfit. And we looked at each other like, well, come on. And I mean, and then just like the kinetic energy that you guys have together, you really are incredible scene partners. And I wonder.
We never really worked together, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
so nervous making, but.
That opportunity is brave in and of itself. I would imagine there's something courageous and okay, I'm going to
Yeah, it was kind of scary just because, it was scary for all the reasons that I'm always nervous every time I get a job or do a job or start a job. I'm always basically not really functioning as a calm person. Like the first 2 or 3 weeks of every job are just awful. They're really incredibly unpleasant.
Well,
ugh.
Really?
Yeah, just nervous and sick and not sick, but
well, yeah, you're
sick
in
with
your
nerves.
yeah. There's something in your body that's is it like that even when you revisit Carie?
Every single season.
Really?
Because I was going to ask. I'm always sort of struck by the idea.
Do you feel that?
Not
every
the same.
season
I
of
asked,
SNL?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I'm just perpetually nervous, and that just hasn't changed.
Me
but
too.
I guess
No.
But I asked Cynthia this. I was like, what was the reacclimation to Miranda? And she was like, no, she's kind of in me. I was like, that's incredible. But I'm always struck by the idea that you never watch dailies. Most of Sex and the City you haven't seen back.
Wow.
Is part of the answer to the question that Matt's asking, is it to eliminate the things that would engender fear? Because to watch yourself back
it's not productive for me. It makes it, and it is for Cynthia. Cynthia's a perfect example of someone who can watch dailies and have it be helpful, useful. And for me, it's paying attention. I just want the work to be good. I don't need to see a playback on the set ever.
Okay.
I don't need to see dailies. If there's something radically wrong, I'm going to have known about it long before that work comes back to from the studio the next day. I will have felt it on the set. I'm like a whippet, I'm so like this. I want so much for the work to be good that anything that feels peripheral isn't helpful to me.
It's not candor.
I
think it's honesty. I think you are. I think you really do seek honesty. I really,
but
because you
Cynthia
are
would
the
say
most.
that she can seek honesty from those dailies, but we're just made differently.
It's a different process.
Right.
Yeah.
But is in the absence of that sort of reflection, what is your way of tracking Carie through all the years?
Talking to Michael all the time. Asking a lot of, not asking questions because I'm not a trained actor, so I'm not asking questions. I'm not asking subtext questions, which I keep to myself. I'm asking questions sort of like a for instance of, but if she's saying that, or she's behaving this way, or she makes this gesture, or she wears that, then don't we want to be thoughtful about that? Or if you're asking if it's written this way, is there a landmine on the way to the next thing? Because and sometimes Michael Patrick will say to me, you don't know what I know. And I'll say, I don't, and I don't want to. Like, I don't like to read the script until the night before the table read because I have so much work to do in this present moment that if I start, knowing what Carrie's going to do next, then I'm like, here. Or he'll say to me, wow, I didn't see that. You're right. That's a good point. Wait a minute. Let me think about that. Maybe we should back off that. Or maybe you're right to pay attention to the kind of language here because maybe we don't, like I'm always on them about language. I'm like, she's right or she's right or she's right or so she'd be thoughtful about the way she's expressing things. Like, does she use the F word a lot? Maybe not because she's always thinking and considering, and her observational life has been like her meal ticket. So I want to be thoughtful about language because it's the only way she's in the world.
Thoughtful, literally full of thoughts.
Right.
Yes.
And that's really interesting, especially because you're talking about how like.
So that's how I track it. Sorry.
I love it. And I love that.
But you're in speaking about like literally the character of Carrie Bradshaw. One of the things that I think is so incredible about Carrie is that she is far from perfect. She'd be very easy to judge, and I wonder
apparently
how
people do.
No, well, I wonder how many times. Well, but that's a good thing, though.
But I'm saying that's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, but literally, she made, I think, one of the most famous mistakes in television history.
What are you talking about?
Well, when she cheated. You know what I mean? Like
men have been doing forever.
Exactly.
Well, yes, but I mean,
as
like
leads on shows and in movies, and people are like, "I love him."
Yeah, but this is the actual question I'm asking is how much do you judge her, and how much are you like Carrie when she does something that you don't?
I mean,
like?
she's a fictional character.
Well, yes. But you make her so real, is what I'm saying.
I think people make mistakes, and smart people do silly, stupid things, and they use poor judgment, and they fall really short often.
Yeah.
The best of us fall short, and we forgive us our trespasses if we forgive those who trespass. Like, I mean, I kind of think if Carrie Bradshaw were somebody who was absolutely reliable to resist, in that instance, the temptation of Big, and Big who followed her around, who orbited in a solar system that seemed to only include the two of them.
Narcissistic abuse.
Maybe
Let's say it.
That's a new. Those are new words for me. But but then I'm not entirely sure what is the show.
Right.
Like, who is this person if she is only making really solid, predictable choices and choosing, and it's not a recipe for all of us to live by. That's what makes it. It's like there's an altered state to Sex and the City. There's like, it's not entirely, the emotional life is rooted in truth, but its existence has always felt to me like slightly technicolor.
Yeah.
On a higher vibration.
Altered. Yeah, like the city looks
there's
like
fantasy.
this.
Yeah.
And the clothes look like this, and there's like a time warp of, like, time suspends, and you can be with people you love for long periods of time, which does not exist for all of us, no matter how much we love our friends. And love has this sort of like extra dose of some kind of adrenaline fueled
ridiculous consuming love.
Right.
Consuming. Yeah, we were just watching it.
And what does she say to him? I want love. I want
I am someone who is looking for love. And we were talking about how
love. And if you want,
it's great
we
monologue.
can't have. I mean, you don't spend time on HBO being perfect.
No.
And
but
one of my favorite characters in the world is Tony Soprano. Like,
well, yes.
forever. But that is not a man who made great.
Well, hello.
But curious how many people did not interrogate those same things about him, nor should they have, because it was just beautiful writing and brought us into the life of somebody who we wouldn't normally feel such compassion for.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing. I'm just saying it's curious.
No.
How little tolerance we have for a woman.
Well, my take too
falling
is that
short,
of course it's that, but also it's like we project onto Carie because we want to be her. Whereas, like, we really don't want to be Tony Soprano. So
maybe we want to be Jimmy. Like, there was something really.
Well, yeah.
How do you
describe
want
the swagger, and you want like the
I guess the intensity
and
the complexity.
Yes, but it's almost like I feel like when people can expect something of you, like you can fail them. And I think that Carrie Bradshaw is an aspirational. This is why it's I asked the initial question of like that must feel sometimes a little intense because she is the woman who took over New York. And I mean, and started, smoking her cigarettes, taking off her shoes on the street, and now, we've seen her all these years and we've been with her. Yet we didn't need to see all her growth to from the beginning know that we wanted to be one of her friends. Are you a Carie, a Miranda, a Charlotte, or a Samantha?
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
That's a question for a reason. And so when that is true, my opinion is that is why we're often hard on people but I wouldn't do that. And I'm Carie, I am.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so interesting. I wouldn't do that, but I'm Carie, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. That's really great. And I'm not privy to all of the chatter, so I'm just Kristen Davis always keeps me up. Keeps me posted in ways that sometimes I'm like,
don't tell me everything,
you don't have to tell me that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear what anyone has to say.
Right.
Plus, it doesn't help me.
No,
but I'm thrilled that people have feelings. Like, how great.
I mean,
of course.
Right.
The treat of watching Carie now is just that you're like, and this is just a testament to your acting, which I can't really still can't square with the fact that you don't watch anything back. It's just that like, this is Carie. This is Carie like decades in this beautiful way. It's like it's still like this last episode with you and Aiden, it was just like with Carie and Aiden, it was the perfect extrapolation of like what like I watched as a non-New Yorker now thinking, but that's Sarah Jessica. That's Sarah Jessica like shepherding this person into like across time in a way that I think we love.
And we should say when we're talking about the scene with Aiden, this will come out in a few weeks.
Yes,
so
yes.
like we are a little bit behind. Something may have happened with Aiden since we're talking about Carie. Again, I didn't love that she did this, but gave him the goddamn key. I was like, you really are giving these men the access.
And then
this might go into my own thing. So I know she has to believe, but she has to want more for herself too.
No, but then we did watch on the way here. I knew you would do this. I'm humiliated.
What an amazing sequence!
Incredible sequence.
Can we just talk about filming that? Like the wedding sequence.
The library.
The library, which obviously had to have meaning for you as well because you're so close to it. And then here you are creating this iconic thing, but like. You don't watch that sequence because you really killed it, girl.
I really remember. We had to. Michael really wanted us to go to the premiere and sit through it, and Don. So,
so you did see that.
I did. I wasn't like pleasant, but
sure.
Meaning like I don't want to watch
you
myself
proud,
for that long.
Yeah.
And also, you're in
that
anguish.
scene I remember really shooting because we were trying to. I'll have this piece of tape off by the time we finish. We were trying to protect the plot, which was crazy thought that we could do it on 43rd Street between 6th and 5th. And we were all they had us in a hotel room, as they do. They got to put you somewhere while they're setting up the shot. Yep. And so we were all in a hotel room together waiting to shoot that scene. And I didn't know how, there's so much, and you both you're actors, so there's like a huge amount of thinking you can do about something. And some people really prepare. And I think about things a lot. And I learn my lines, but I don't really have a set plan because it's so much about the other party. I can have all the plans in the world, but that means that it's likely I'm not hearing a god darn thing you're saying or doing.
Totally.
So I had no idea how we were going to do this scene. I had no idea how I was going to be.
Yeah, not a lot on the page either at all.
No, and it's just, I think that's a really great example of Michael Patrick like really setting the table and teeing it all up really, really well, and just calling action and not getting in anybody's way. There was no right or wrong way. I didn't hear him in my head saying I knew it, whatever those lines were, I knew you were going to do this or whatever. But there was so much truth. I think the entire time in my head, now that I'm recalling this, was this probably this fear that he actually was
capable of that.
Not going to show. Like there was going to be a part of him, even a psychic part of him that didn't show up. So anyway, that scene and just people around and us trying not to have anyone take pictures of the flowers and the petals.
Right.
And those were real flowers with thorns and everything on the stems. I mean, those were real roses for all their beauty and all their danger.
Wow.
It's so brilliantly directed. Like, we were just watching it and I was like, oh, Cynthia here. Oh my God, Kim.
Oh my
like,
God,
what see what Kristen's doing. And just the...
How about when Kristen just says no?
No. And
the
wait,
way
can I
does it? I was like,
no, it was primal. And
primal.
I wanted to know. Do you remember? This is an insane question. Were there 2 no's in the script, or was?
I think there was one.
The
love
second
it.
one is so cute.
Because it's reaction.
I'm gonna ask Kristen.
And
I'll
statement.
call you guys later and ask Kristen.
We
She'll
have to
remember
know.
exactly.
It's just iconic, and also
that dress that she can barely walk in. It's what's his name? Zach. It's Zach Posen's dress. Yeah.
That black one.
And then
dress.
the little comedic beat at the end of her tip.
Yeah, because she
and
can't. She doesn't have any movement.
I
in
love it,
Yeah.
and that's so specific.
That's Kristen,
and great.
though. I mean, I have to say, like, that's how Kristen is about us.
Yeah.
Like, don't mess with us.
Yes.
Meaning she will not let anyone hurt us.
Love.
She will jump in front of a bear, a train, a bull. Like, that is her.
It was a
nature.
mission statement for that
Yes.
character, like that
Yes.
protection, and also just like, you know, the way that every character was like immediately filling into a utility to protect one
like
of their
everybody had
family
their job.
members.
It was just, I remember that about it.
Yeah, just the way that Cynthia looks at him afterwards, like so deeply. Because I always thought that the relationship between Miranda and Big was always fascinating.
Yes.
Because they're like, I feel like Miranda always saw Big. Always knew something that everyone didn't. And of course it was informed by like, you know, sort of like...
The version that Carie would tell either of them about, oh, Miranda said this today or Big said this today.
I think that's why, and maybe I have this wrong, we don't have to spend more time on this, but I think that's why it's so, I don't expect you guys to know the answer to this, but it's possible that Miranda says, go get our girl. When Carrie's in Paris with Petrovsky, I think she's the one that says to Big, go get our girl. Which is interesting that she is basically endorsing Carie and Big.
Totally.
You know?
But also including herself in that arrangement of our.
Yeah.
It's one of the best.
And what you're describing on the days, even though you're saying there's no process, the process is led by a candor. You know, by this honesty that you just don't, you need to know what Chris is going to do, or not to know what he's going to do, but you need to just play off of what he's going to do or what, you know.
The best thing you can do as an actor, it's the best thing, is to not be too prepared. Be prepared.
I feel that way too.
Be on time. Be on time.
On time,
be
nice.
Be on time. Learn your lines.
Yeah.
Know your lines. I don't care what genre of filmmaking you're at, unless it's entirely improvised.
Sure.
Other than that, know your lines.
Well, you know what?
And then just listen, see what happens. It's the best.
Another show I loved Divorce. But I worked with Molly Shannon on a show called I Love That For You. And I remember like we were in the makeup trailer one day and she looked at me and she goes, "How much do you look at the lines?" And I go,
Don't throw her under the bus.
No.
Molly knows.
Molly knows her lines.
She
How about all
does.
of her notes in her script when she's walking around with the script and she's got all of her.
I love the way she loves to orient herself. I learned a lot from it.
Yes, I
Just
learned
like,
so much from her.
Right? Isn't she great? Well, obviously, Bowen's worked with her now several times because she's gone back. But, you know...
When she said what was your answer when she asked that question?
I was like, you know what? I'm getting... Because I tend to I'm very hard on myself. And I would leave... it was my first series regular job, and I wanted to do a good job. And I think that, you know, again, I don't want to make this about myself, but Jennifer Lewis...
wanted to do better than a good job.
I wanted to be the best.
Yeah,
I do want to be the best.
Of course.
So basically, like,
Jennifer Lewis.
There was a day when Jennifer Lewis.
We say Jennifer Lewis.
Yes, Jennifer Lewis.
That's the only way we say her name.
One of my biggest bummers is that the episode that she came on this podcast, you were out, and but I want them to meet so bad because I just want to see that interaction.
Jennifer Lewis.
But she said to me one day, she was like, "You're too hard on yourself. You're too hard on yourself." And she just she was like, and people just, you have to know you have it. And so Molly asked me that question, and I was like, you know what? I'm learning to drive myself less crazy about it because I find you do know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who wants to show up and do a good job to begin with,
you're going to do a job.
You do know it. And so sometimes I think it's important to preserve that freshness.
A little bit of tingle.
Yeah, because you have to think about it like the characters
doesn't. Did you say frisson?
Yeah. The frisson. Fresh from the
No, you're right.
But it does feel like the character doesn't know what they're about to say.
Right, I know. So it's that fine line of being prepared and being completely
spontaneous.
Yeah, like a raw nerve.
But Molly was. It was just interesting. Like I made that connection that you guys had worked together in a show I loved.
She's
brought
really
that
great.
up.
I tell young actors, and this was before I'd listened to Barbra Streisand's book on tape, the only book I've ever listened to, not on tape, but audio version.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
But I think Molly's memoir is the greatest. Like, if you can't get to an acting class and you can't get to an acting school, that is not a possibility for you. Read her book. It is a handbook for young actors. I think it's, first of all, it's I mean, not surprisingly, it's brilliantly written. It's so funny and so clearly her voice, but her scrappiness and her persistence, not actually unlike Barbra Streisand's, who was like, I'm going to get in that class. I don't care. I will get in that class if I have to lie about my age, if 100%. I don't lie about my age, if I do this, if I babysit for the acting teacher, if I... All the ways in which she worked toward, Molly had the same kind of grit and the same kind of endless...
gumption.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Literally throwing herself into it.
Literally, yeah.
Okay, we're going to throw ourselves into I Don't Think So, Honey.
Oh, my God.
This is...
Anytime I've seen this, the studio seems so big, and I didn't realize the studio's so small, and I guess the way you guys shoot it, which is so funny to say for a podcast, but the separation, because often... Wait, are you more separated from each other sometimes? Are you ever separated?
Sometimes we're on this side.
Yeah, because sometimes they're shooting. I guess it's your right. So
it's pretty
so
random.
funny to see you together.
Sometimes I do like being over there.
I do like being over there sometimes, but this feels right. This feels like the right
Would you have preferred that today?
No, I love this. I wouldn't change a thing about today.
We can start over again.
You want to take it from the top?
All right. So what do you want me to?
Well, so we're gonna go
first,
and then.
You have one. Oh,
yes, we all do it.
I'm so excited. Also, that makes me really scared because yours are no doubt, likely going to be very funny, snarky, fast.
Come on. Well, now you're setting a bar. We're trying to meet.
Exactly.
So this is our 60-second segment for those just joining us, the SJP fans that are just coming by Lost Coach because the icon herself is here. But 60 seconds to rant and rail against something in pop culture that's getting our goat.
Anything.
Anything, please.
You'll tell me if I can't wait to hear yours.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I have takes because I'm a fan. Here we go.
Oh, this is Matt Rodder's I Don't Think So, Honey. His time starts now.
I Don't Think So, Honey. Carrie Bradshaw, I think you needed to give Paris a few more weeks back in the day. I have to say, because I Don't Think So, Honey big, I never did. I, like Miranda, saw you from the beginning, sir, and I do have the words for it now. It was narcissistic abuse. Rest in peace.
Darn it.
But still, I also don't think so, honey. Aiden, wait for me 5 years, sir. Carrie, SJP, I know you're not her, but you have a direct line to her. Carrie, you are a target for narcissists.
No.
And let me tell you something about who Carrie Bradshaw is.
30 seconds.
Carrie Bradshaw is someone who is looking for love. And I don't think that it's here in this beautiful city, in that townhouse infested with rats.
15 seconds.
In Manhattan. I think you gotta go back to Paris, and I gotta say, now, like you, gonna give me some New York recommendations in my new area.
5 seconds.
Wink. I think I could give you some Parisian recommendations. Silencio. It says it's a gay club. It's not. You're gonna do great. Lots of wonderful straight guys there, Carie, and they're not big in Aiden, which is perfect for me. I don't think so, honey.
And that's 1 minute.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I don't want to go.
No, you gotta go.
I don't want to go.
I'll go, and I'm gonna bring us down.
That's bad.
But can I tell you
It's not
something?
funny.
No, who cares?
to
And
be.
all it has to be is spirited.
Honest.
You can cut it out.
No, we
cutting
can't.
it up.
Chop it up.
Make it better.
They're gonna see the timestamps. They're gonna know that we fucked with it.
First of all,
you guys are you're
I'm gonna take a left turn.
Oh, you go.
This is
You go.
This is gonna
You
be a,
time
this is gonna
him.
be a
You
whole
hold up.
nothing.
Look at all
This
this
is
stuff
Bowen.
on your phone.
I know
Don't
he's
use
at
a
a
bunch of
isn't
stuff.
that the cutest pop socket? It's a very
little-
he was
What do you call
dragging
this?
pop
This is a pop
socket.
socket.
So, but this is also a fidget
Grip.
spinner.
That's a fidget
Yeah,
spinner.
that's
it's
great.
Jigglypuff.
It's a fidget spinner on a pop socket. Let's show the
Let's
girls.
show the girls.
Look at that, y'all. Isn't that just
That's
Jigglypuff.
really pretty.
Well, he's a
Yeah.
Pokemon fanatic.
That's really, really
It's cute.
pretty.
It's fun.
all right. Oh,
It's my baseball. It's my Yankees.
when you look down at the text, and there's a lot.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
You mean from the world?
Just CNN breaking some news.
Oh,
anyways,
no.
it won't be topical now. But just know there's
Just
more
CNN
bullshit.
breaking some news.
Okay, this is Bowen Yang's. I don't think so, honey. And his time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. When someone asks if you're free on a certain night without telling you what they are inviting you to or pressuring you to do,
Narcissistic abuse.
that is a form of entrapment. Legally, that is a form of entrapment. You are not allowed to do that. I need to know what you are asking me to commit to before
Yeah.
I tell you whether or not I'm free. Because I might need the night to myself to stay in.
No, he needs it.
I need it, but I think I in the royal I sense
30
need
seconds.
it. And we just have to moratorium on that for a little bit before we know a way forward. I think there should be legislation behind this. I mean, you're allowed to cancel.
In all their free time. Sorry.
What's that? No, please.
No, you get 3 seconds.
No,
back.
yes. You get your free time back, and it's like, but then the person feels like they're giving you your time back, which is also kind of a weird directional sort of
And
way
5.
of framing it. And I just think we need to be more transparent about what the proposal is when we're inviting our friends out.
And that's 1 minute. And also, when
That was really good, guys. That was both of those were great.
Thank you.
thank you.
Those are great.
But it can be anything.
But
see?
listen, what I'm saying about this
Lord.
is, and when I say to you in response to what are you doing this night, and you don't qualify it with any information, and my response is, well, what's going
Well,
on
what's
or
going
why?
on?
I'm not rude.
No,
No,
I'm
I think
investigative.
it's perfectly fair question.
Yes.
But
I think
you
it's
know,
a perfectly fair response. Is,
Why?
why? Hey, why?
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet. Why?
yeah, they won't
Oh,
let
I'm
me.
not sure. Yeah, they won't.
They won't.
They won't.
They
They
won't.
won't.
The government.
I still think you can use that,
We're
by
gonna
the way.
use that.
Oh yeah, do it.
Well, I know you sound stern, like you can't really use that anymore, but
I just kind
Well,
of
you
grew
blew your
out of it.
cover.
I was like working on some other stuff.
Yeah.
You
Some
know,
other
I was
lines
trying
for the city
trying out
streets.
some other stuff. I went to Carolyn's comedy over there. And I went to
Yeah.
the cellar. No, I was just working. I try to work on some other. Sometimes I just say the government.
The
That's
Which is
government.
also
No.
equally as like
disorienting. It's
yes
like, what does she
for the
need,
person that
government?
acts the government, especially now when it's like
Right.
maybe it's true.
it might be.
It might be.
You know, we were at the Beyonce concert in Paris, and
Wow,
some
that's why you guys no.
well, we were
were
there
there?
to do the Cannes Lion.
Oh, got it.
And
Okay.
so for our culture awards, and we had a wonderful experience there. It was very
Wow.
exhausting and a lot. We had never been. Well, he had been to Cannes a couple of years ago, but I had never been. It was
Intense.
wow. It was intense and
It's
wow.
intense, yeah.
And then we took a little, I guess, a sojourn to.
How did you choose?
Paris.
How did you know to choose a Murray?
Oh, we just
We had a
BC travel.
BC Travel.
Oh,
at
that's right. You
Bianca
said
Milov.
BC Travel. Yes,
Yeah, at
yes,
BC
yes,
Travel,
yes.
BESEE Travel, and led us in a lovely area, and we were like, well, if we're gonna be there the same time as Beyonce, we're gonna
Yeah.
go see Beyonce.
Right.
Yeah.
And we
Naturally.
didn't get the Miley Cyrus night, but we did get the Jay-Z night, which was special
Oh.
in its own right, to be certain. But some people were coming up, and Bowen was trying out, can we do it at the end?
I said, let's do it on the way out.
Let's do it on the
Oh
way
yeah,
out.
no, that's great.
No.
Yeah.
I've done that. I
Yeah,
say, but
yeah,
on
yeah.
your way out, make sure you
Yeah.
stop by. Or I do. I say on my way out, I'll stop by, and I always do stop by and say
Of
hello.
course.
But I dissuade them that a picture has any. I'm like, let me disavow you of that idea.
Exactly.
There's
Well,
no
you're right.
value at all. This
Yeah,
this
that's
is valuable.
This is good.
That's the thing. You want to be able to say, "Oh, I had this special bespoke interaction," instead of "I have this like picture that's kind of flop."
Yeah, it's not a very great.
You know,
picture either,
and they're never gonna be that great of pictures.
I know.
And
everyone's tense.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's
Right.
tense. No one's comfortable.
But you know,
Oh, God.
Everyone's comfortable and not tense for what we're about to do and witness, which is Sarah Jessica
Okay, I
Parker's
just want to
episode.
say
you
that a couple things.
okay.
The first thing I'm going to say is that I have been preoccupied with family stuff. So
Yes.
as much as I've wanted to really think about this and have it be the sole focus of getting this right, I have not had the kind of time I typically devote to something I care about. That's number one. Number two, I don't really have a beef with anybody.
That's
You know,
okay.
I'm somebody that is just nothing chaps my ass, nothing
Yeah.
rubs me the wrong way. I don't really carry around grudge. So this
God
was
bless you.
like to try to find
Sure.
something
We apologize.
that really bothers me is so anathema. Like,
And here you are
things don't bother
complaining.
me.
And
Okay.
here you are.
This is
All right.
anathema to you, and I think it'll be an interesting
Guys, I don't even know if
exercise.
it's even close to a minute long, and I'm gonna if it's
Whatever
I'm
it is
gonna
gonna be
drag it out.
perfect.
It's really bad.
And
No.
by the
I'm
way, you've
actually
just plussed it
embarrassed.
so much with these glasses. They're incredible.
what?
You've plussed it with the glasses. These are
Well,
amazing.
pay attention to the glasses and not to the words.
No.
Now, I saw Tina Fey, the great,
Reading
She
off the
read it.
phone.
read. So
Listen,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
want you to know
Against it.
that
so do
puts
you
so many people
start
at ease.
off with "I don't think so, honey"?
Yes.
and then
And you bookend it with "I don't think
if
so,
you would like,
honey."
you don't have to end on it.
No,
but
no, no.
it's-
You should.
You should.
I don't
Okay.
think so, honey. Should begin the piece.
Okay.
And it should end the piece. And if it can come checkered throughout the piece,
I'm gonna try,
greater the
but
piece.
I there's.
We'll set you up.
If you ever have me back for no reason at all, because I think we've basically covered
excuse
it.
me.
Then
We can talk to you about a
will
litany of
do-
subjects.
I will do better.
No,
We haven't even heard it
We
yet.
haven't even heard
Okay.
it. This is.
And I'm afraid everyone's covered this topic, but it's the only thing in the whole world that bothers
It
me.
doesn't
need to hear
matter.
Nothing bothers
Oh
me.
my God!
The title of F.
Title of F. This is Sarah Jessica Parker's I Don't Think So, Honey. Your time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Talking everywhere too loud on your phone. We, in fact, don't want to hear your very important business call regarding upcoming merger, potential buyout, the internecine workplace battles with Doug or Stacy or Kate. I don't think so, honey. We don't actually care whether we learn the inner workings of your psyche as you scream into your air sticks
Air sticks.
or into your speakerphone or with the phone pressed to your ears. Nonetheless, both parties back and forth amplified for all to hear. I don't think so, honey. We know you are no doubt a very important person, man. And though you may think your baritone dulcet tones are a gift to your fellow citizen on the train, bus, or Terminal D, Gate 27, or your abuse of the quiet car, even the unsuspecting pedestrian you share a corner with as we wait for the walk sign, who is on the receiving end of your screaming instructions to a coworker, family member, or hotel receptionist, as you bully for the room with the ocean view. No, Bradley, I don't think so, honey. What you might consider a gift for those whose unfortunate path you cross is more so a punishment. I don't think so. Public spaces don't qualify as working from home, Teddy. We are not inspired, motivated, impressed, or swooning. So, bro, with all due, nothing cooler or hotter than a guy who knows when to use his indoor voice. That's crushing it. I don't think so, honey.
Yes!
1 minute.
And that's to all you Mr. Bigs out there.
What are you talking about? It felt like I was hearing
It was euphoric for
a
us.
euphoric
It gave us the
voiceover.
free
Too
song.
long. I
let
was
it
going
get
to
to a
talk
minute.
about how everyone has to walk from A to B with a big 12-ouncer of liquid constantly, but now it's so hot, I felt like that would be a criticism of people being properly
They're
dehydrated.
just trying to stay hydrated. But you know what?
But it is grotesque. It is too big, and all these little positive affirmations on the bottle. We don't need that.
I don't
you're
think so,
you're
honey.
a grown person.
you know,
You don't need that. What was the audition song, by the way? For Annie?
Nothing from a chorus line.
Nothing.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
really
Yeah.
good, really good.
I do think I think a chorus line ending on 1 is actually quite iconic. I love that number.
God,
so good.
But can I say,
do you have that experience where everybody,
Yes!
not everybody, specific types, typically speaking, are on their phone too loud?
Oh, 100%. And
Okay.
I would say that there is something. I just wonder what's happening in private.
Right.
That's so boring. That they need to perform, because
Yes.
that's really what it is. They never had their little chorus line hairspray moment.
Right.
They did never. They just, you know what I mean. That's their stage.
Have you ever seen the fellow that sits in the old days, probably before there was security issues, in the gate area and answers the person on the phone who's talking? I do that now.
That's funny.
I wish I could pull up a tape. I do it now, and my children are like, please, Mama, don't do that, please. So if someone's on the phone saying, well, Bob, you know, can you make it in 7 days? I'm like, I'll try to make it in. I answer.
Oh, that's great.
And after a minute, it's so confusing to the person who is loudly having this important call at gate
It's never that
D27.
important.
Anyway,
It's
watch
never-
that guy. I don't know
love
if you were a
it.
fan of what's the show, Candid Camera?
I loved Candid
Okay,
Camera.
that's basically that's
love it.
that.
I mean,
This is that.
This is that. The kids these days don't know about Candid Camera.
Oh,
Before
it's so
TikTok, there
good.
was Candid Camera.
Oh, it's so good.
And I will say that in Paris, there was a woman in my room wasn't quite ready, so I was killing about an hour, and it really sticks out when there's a clearly American person. Wasn't a man, but this American was screaming on the phone, and I was like, it really. And all these French people just turning their necks.
Oh, it's
to
so
him, like,
awful.
what?
It's so awful.
It's especially like egregious when
Yes.
it's in that
It's
setting.
really something when you are with someone too who's doing it.
Yeah.
And you can't. I remember I was on a date one time, and we were in a very crowded place going home, and he was loudly explaining to me when he learned the difference between a hard no and a soft no over email. And I'm gonna use a profanity, but forgive me, but the woman in front of us turned around and made eye contact with me like this. And all she was saying with her eyes was, "You cannot."
I don't
fuck
think
him."
so, honey.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
I don't
saying,
think so,
"I don't
honey.
think so, honey."
Like I
You
looked
understood
back and
that
I
your
goes,
word.
"Don't worry." I was like, "This is a one-armed hug and a sayonara at the end of this." I don't think so, honey. That loudly going on about it, and I'm like, "Oh my God, where am I? Am I in the Matrix right now or something?" Like it was.
She was helpful in that
She
moment.
was huge. I'll
That's
never
great.
forget her.
That's
she's
great.
She's a cultural
That's very
icon.
sweet.
You know, and only in New York.
Only New York, and we are so lucky that you came and joined us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
I said so many months ago, literally, I think whenever we wrapped, I said, you know, I was trying to figure out, like, how do you talk about a show today? Like, what makes sense, what matters, there's just so much.
Yep.
But I was like, this is what I want to do. I wanted to do this show so much because I love what you're both doing together and separately. And it's, you know, there's always the thing that feels fresh, and people are figuring out ways of like giving us information and stuff. But so I just, you know, I was hoping that it would be something that you guys would be hospitable to. So thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. It's been so much
It's
fun.
so special to get to talk to
Thank you.
It really
Thank
is.
you.
And
It's
I'm
a
happy
boon when you
we're
embrace.
befriended.
Yes, it's a boon when you embrace these things. Like you going on all these shows is very, very affirming for people who podcast.
Yeah.
Are in the podcasting space where we're like, oh, we get to talk to someone as compelling and wonderful as us.
And we do have a lot of mutual friends.
We do.
Yeah, we do. So
Yeah.
our paths have to cross
I'm sure they
with
will.
more vigor or more intent.
Intention.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and they will.
Yeah, and
They will.
and you know, next time I see Matthew at a Mets
can
game,
say, "Oh my
I'll
God,
just
I
go
love
up and say,
election."
"I just saw." I was gonna say, I didn't bother him this time because he was like next to Steve and everything, and I was just like, you know, there. But I did just watch Election, and we
It's
just
such a good
talked.
movie.
It's so good, and
Such
just
a good
Reese
movie.
is such an icon
And
in it,
isn't
and
he's so good in it?
he's so good.
He's so still.
Did you have a crush on Ferris Bueller?
I thought he was great. Very quickly, I went to see Ferris Bueller with a young Martha Plimpton. She was staying.
My gosh!
She was staying with me, and we got to the theater at the Gulf and Western Building, which is at Columbus Circle. You know what that building's called?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. It was Gulf and Western Building. My whole childhood and into young adulthood, and there was a movie theater underneath. It was a Paramount movie theater, and we went to see it. I was with a fella at the time, and Martha was sleeping over a bunch, and we got to the theater, and I remember she told me she forgot her wallet, and I was like, dang. But so we all saw Ferris Bueller together, which was amazing, and then I was shooting Footloose when I think Project X came out, and another movie of his, and on my day off, I had rented a bike, and I rode up to whatever in Provo to the movie theater and saw. So I was seeing all his movies, but not because I was like
enamored.
No, I loved his work. Yeah. And I thought Ferris Bueller was like otherworldly.
Yeah.
Like I'd never seen someone talk to the
his
camera.
line, "Do you have a kiss for Daddy?" He's so good.
He's really great.
Hey, if you're watching, but you're probably watching the Mets, and I don't blame you. And let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. What is that?
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Get to the park and greet the Mets. Wow, kind of interesting melodically.
Good melody
I think I'm listening. The one I was humming was the one from 660.
Oh, Sports Radio 66,
No,
WFAN, New York. Remember that one?
You have all the other songs that I don't have.
Wait, which one are you thinking?
I don't know. It's the Mets. I don't know. Something with
You're talking about AM 660, right?
I don't know.
I guess the 660.
Maybe. Yeah, 660 on your AM dial.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
Well, we end every episode with a song.
Do we?
We do.
Oh,
Bowen and I shred it.
We shred
What's
it,
different every day?
Of course you shred it. That's
All
why
I ever needed was the music and the mirror and the chance to dance. And for more of that, you can maybe catch it at the Jimmy Awards or just, get up to the librry. Stream a chorus line. Stream a chorus line. I love 2025.
You guys know. Oh.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, no, the bye. I screw up your bye.
No, you didn't screw it up.
There's a July 27th. I'm going to be out of the country. I'm so upset. York Lee is doing a 50th anniversary show, something on July 27th.
Go to that.
Yes, go.
Go.
Now bye.
Las Culturistas is a production by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players and iHeartRadio podcasts.
Created and hosted by Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. Executive produced by Anna Hosnier and Hans Sani.
Produced by Becca Ramos. Edited and mixed by Doug Babe and Monique Laborde.
And our music is by Henry Kaburski. Did you like that?
Looking for more?
Well, then hit that like and subscribe button and watch more culture with us
here on the Las Culturistas YouTube channel.